earlier, but I wanted to kind of reintroduce myself. My name is Joanna, and I actually went to Cape Town 2 years ago as a student and loved the program so much that when I graduated from UGA last May, I decided this is what I wanted to do full time. And the reason I went to Cape Town is because at that time it was really it was the only Global Leap program, and I had met the different Global Leap staff members through different organizations at UGA while I was in college here. When I found out that they were all coming together to do a leadership and service program abroad, I basically was like, sign me up. I don't care what it is. I don't care where I'm going. Didn't know anything about Cape Town, but I was there, and it really is an absolutely phenomenal experience, and I could not even put it into better words than what Lauren just said. But that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm still working for Global Leap full time, because it really is that amazing. And at this time next year, you guys are all going to want to be back telling the same story, because you're going to have such a phenomenal time in Greece. But just to kind of switch gears, I just want to talk about communication abroad, and then I'll touch on safety as well before I turn it back over to the Greece program staff. First of all, check out the emergency contacts on page 38. This is really important, especially for y'all and your parents. Make sure that you share this information with them. It's going to be online, the whole program manual, so they can download it from home, and we'll send that information out to them after this. But make sure you guys have this in your backpack, in your luggage, in your carry-on on your way to Greece, and with you all the time when you're on the ground. Make sure your parents have it as well, just so they know, especially how to get in contact with you during whatever time of the program it is. So when you're in Glyfada or when you're in Crete, they know who to contact. Internet, Beth Ann is going to talk about this a little bit more in detail later, but you will have internet in most of the places that you stay, and I'll let her kind of give you the details, but you will have the opportunity to email back home, Skype, that kind of stuff with friends here. Cell phones, Beth Ann already touched on this. You can bring your cell phone from home if you have an international plan, but you can also buy one when you get there, and Beth Ann will help you when you get on the ground to figure that out. Buy it and you just pay for your minutes, but you'll have free incoming calls. It's just basically a $40 Go phone, kind of standard phone, and that way you don't have to worry about having your personal phone. So it's really up to you. You can talk to Beth Ann about what she recommends for you personally after this if you have any other questions, or email her. The last two things. How many of you guys talk to your parents every single day now? Okay, so there's a good group. So your parents especially are going to probably expect to hear from you every single day, but they can tell, and I can tell you from my time in Cape Town, you're going all the time. So as the Global Leap staff, what we do to kind of help relieve the burden of letting your parents know exactly what you did every single day, we do two different things. One, we have basically a blog that you guys are going to actually contribute to. So every single person will be responsible for writing a blog post, and we'll continuously update it on the Global Leap website. So your parents and friends at home will be able to go there and kind of see what you guys are up to, but hear from different perspectives and people on the trip, which is really cool. And weekly, the program directors will upload kind of what's going on, what's happened this week, and you'll have an academic update. So that's all on the blog, on the homepage, and it'll be there on the entire trip. And then on Sunday nights, there's going to be a weekly Q&A, so your parents can go on Ustream. And if any of you guys had parents that did the conference calls, they'll kind of understand this, but it's all in your program manual as well, how to do it. They'll go on to Ustream, and they'll basically be able to see Beth Ann and Jason and type in any questions that they have, like ask, how's Becca doing, or whoever it is, and just ask the program directors any questions that they have about you guys while you're abroad. So another way to kind of relieve the pressure for you guys to always be telling your parents exactly what's happened this week. Moving on to how we keep you safe. This is Global Leap's #1 priority. No matter what the location is, no matter where you are, we want to make sure that you're safe above all else. So the first thing that we do is we have a buddy system. You can never leave the hotel that we're staying in, even though we move to different places. You can't ever leave the hotel without at least one other person with you at all times. No exceptions, absolutely not. You have to be with one other person. So that's the first thing, and you'll have a sign in and a sign out. So it'll be an electronic way that when you're leaving the hotel, you basically say, this is where I'm going, this is who I'm with, this is when I'll be back. So Beth Ann and Jason always know where you are, who you're with, and if you aren't back when you say, they'll know that something might be wrong, and they'll be able to figure it out. The whole staff is CPR and first aid certified, so if anything should happen, we are here to save your life. So that's really exciting. Tardiness is really important, because if you're ever late, whether it's a morning meeting or it's an activity, especially when you're traveling to different places, if you're late, they're going to assume something is wrong. So it's not just about sleeping in, missing a class. It's really important that you're always on time to every single event, because they're going to assume that like something could be terribly wrong. So this is one of the ways that we keep you safe. Travel days, Beth Ann mentioned this earlier, but there'll be opportunities for you to do overnight travels to different islands or do different things with groups, and there's additional forms that are required, so we know exactly where you are and we can keep you safe during that time. The accommodations, this is really key, and a lot of parents love this, especially in Athens. When you're doing your service and your history and all that in Athens, we'll actually be staying outside of the city in a little suburb called Glyfada. It's really safe. Beth Ann talked about that. But that's partly to keep you safe, so you're not in the hustle and bustle of the city. And you can walk everywhere. You go to everywhere you stay, you'll be in walking distance of cafes and restaurants, and you won't really ever need to get into a taxi, which is really important. The accommodations, there's security, and you'll always feel really safe. So that's a huge part for Global Lead. And then lastly, we have Sunday night check-ins. Every Sunday night, no matter what you did that day, no matter if you're sick, whatever it is, you're going to come to the Sunday night dinner and you're going to check in with Beth Ann and Jason and the program staff to make sure that you're there. No exceptions again. And then community groups. Beth Ann explained what those are before, but basically the point is that no matter what school you're from, no matter how many people you know on the trip, you're going to have at least 6 or 7 other people that you get to know really well on the trip, and you're kind of always looking out for each other. So it feels like a really intimate trip, even though there's almost 50 students that are going to be in Greece this year. So those are some ways that we keep you safe. Just know that you're responsible for reading over all the safety requirements in your manual. Definitely do that. There's rules and all that kind of stuff. And just know that as foreigners, you're always more vulnerable to crime. So be aware of that. Just don't do anything. I'm not going to go through every single thing. Just be aware, know what's going on, and know that if you're drinking or anything like that, that you're more susceptible to crime. So always limit your alcohol intake, all that kind of stuff. And don't bring a lot of cash and valuables. Beth Ann also talked about that as well. And then the last kind of tip we have for you guys is if you have a credit card and an ATM or a bank card or cash, always keep something back in the hotel or locked up. Like always have more than one way to access funds. So if something were to happen, if you misplace your wallet, you don't want to be completely without a credit card or cash or anything like that. So have more than one way to access funds. That's just really part of keeping you safe. And then women's safety. Obviously, we have a lot of girls that are going to Greece this year, and I was a girl on a Global Lead program at one time as well. So you guys know, just always be more aware of everything. Take extra precautions. This is really important to UGA as well, that we've included this in our pre-departure event. So just be aware. If you're in Athens, Georgia, if you're in Athens, Greece, it doesn't matter. Like, you need to be aware of what's going on and be safe, and always be with groups. While we require that you be with 2 people, we really recommend that you be in groups of 3, because that's always safer no matter where you are. So women's safety, and now I'm just going to turn it back over to Beth Ann to talk about